All right, ladies and gents, it's Handyman back again for a follow-up on Hustler Sport 48 inch zero turn that I was working on, trying to find out why it didn't want to crank and everything. Battery's fully charged up. Stuck a brand new solenoid up under there. Fixed the wire that was burned up and all that good stuff. Evidently, like I said, it was the solenoid was shot, and a brand new one fixed it right up. That black wire right there, hadn't quite figured out where that went to. Like I said, evidently it burned up because the previous owner had it in the wrong location. It was on this post over here, and it wasn't supposed to be there. As soon as I turned the key switch on and tried to crank it, it started smoking. Took it off. So I'm gonna replace that again. I've been looking at some videos and stuff trying to find out the actual location, and I've seen one video, it looks like it goes on the other post, and I've seen another video or schematic, looks like it is supposed to be grounded there. It's a black wire, so it looks like a ground. So not absolutely sure, don't want to hook it up and run to the same pile again, perhaps burn something else up. But as of right now, the way it sits, let's see everything. Fires right up. Cleaned the carburetor out, got the water out of there and everything. As you can see, I got those rigged up. These little keepers were missing. Eventually I'll get those. Cut the grass with it yesterday. She runs great, runs like a champ. Hadn't had any issues or anything out of it. The only thing I did see is once I got through, well, the first thing I noticed when I was doing the electrical problem, I was unloosening all these bolts up here to get inside and see what was going on. And I left them loose. And while I was cutting the grass, two fell out. So I ended up, I got hardware in that bag. I had to replace those this morning because, like I said, I forgot to tighten those back up, and those fell out. And another thing, when I got done, I noticed, just checking over everything, make sure everything was everything, and looking underneath, I seen that was chewed up and missing a chunk out of it, as you can see. So I went and got a brand new one of those this morning. And while I was under there, I also noticed this bracket was hanging. One of the bolts had fell out of there. And I noticed these bigger, bigger holes in the end than those holes there. So it's a little spacer washer thing that goes behind there. So I went to the dealer this morning, got all that good stuff to put it back like it was supposed to be in the right bolts, because they had itty bitty bolts in there and that wasn't gonna do it. And so that's what I'm working on now, getting all that straightened out, and we should be good to go. Gonna have to replace those tires. You see it's got mud on them. Those are really no good for turf. It wasn't all that soggy and mud, but any little soft spot I went through, it was spinning. She didn't want to catch any grip or anything. But yeah, over and all, like I said, we got everything straightened out. She runs good, cuts good. I just, like I said, like to make sure all my stuff is the way it's supposed to be. I was looking at those two holes. Evidently, they tell me at the dealership that it's really a piece of film that goes over there. On some of these mowers don't have these in there, but one's an oil switch, and I'm assuming the other one could be a timer. You can add them on if you wanted to. So eventually I'm gonna do that. They're like 30 bucks for the oil. And right now I didn't have to have it, just putting everything on it that's necessary to be able to function the way it's supposed to function. That's your main thing. You don't have to spend money. Why? You know what I mean? But in the future, I have everything back like it's supposed to be, when she makes a little money. So she runs good and everything now. Like I said, fires up right up with that, without that wire being hooked up. But I'm going to find the exact location that goes to, and we're going to get that hooked up. And we should be pretty much done with everything. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick follow-up, unless you having any complication with your mower of a similar type or anything like that, because like I said, I've looked at several videos on there and I can't find any that really explains this mower in depth, that solenoid in depth, or anything like that. So I'm glad I'm actually making this video for you guys. So You need any other questions, anything in the future, just message me or whatever, leave a comment, and I'll see what I can do for you. I also, like I said, want to show you a little trick that I did, because like I said, I don't know if you can see. You walk over here right quick. It's having probably issue. I knew it had to been water. I told you that because I showed you. I don't know if you can see it. Half of it's gas, but it's a good bit of water. You see that line right there down in the bottom, and I left my pump thing at the house to get that out of there. So with a little bit of thinking, using my head, I came up with a solution, and I'm gonna tell you about it right now. What I did is took the line off right here that goes to the pump, that connects, that actually siphons the gas out of here. And anybody know anything about siphoning? When you're siphoning, you want your hose, the end of your hose, to be lower than your lowest level, of fuel. So I took it off and got that little thing I just showed you and put it down here on the ground and had it down here. Like I said, I didn't have anything to suck it out. I wasn't finna put my mouth on that gas or anything, because like I said, I just had ran to try to crank it, and I didn't want to get fuel in the mouth. So I took the cap off while the hose was down lower than that. Took this off and took me a rag and placed it over like that, and that's got some air. You got a rag, so air is going to go through it if you blow on it. Put my mouth down on there and blew through it to create the flow going. And once it started flowing, it's the same scenario as a siphon. It just worked in the backwards way. Got all that stuff out, and yeah, she's good to go. So that's another little trick you guys can use in the field if you run into some issues and you don't have, the little Harbor Freight pump or whatever to get that stuff out of there. A nice little trick right there. So, been good talking to you guys. Anything else you need, just get at me.